Hey everyone, welcome to Tech Mechie. Today we'll be reviewing the LG OLED C2. The C2 was released in March of 2022 and sits just below the G2 in LG's WOLED lineup. Although the C2 doesn't get quite as bright as the G2, it shares the same Alpha 9 Gen 5 processor and connectivity as the G2. LG has been in the OLED TV business for a while now, and all of that experience has gone into creating the C2, which is a polished, high-performing set that can offer a great experience for just about anyone. In fact, for the price, I think the C2 delivers so much that it's almost criminal. Oh. Out of the box, the C2 has decent color accuracy in the expert dark picture mode, with color temperature set to warm 50. After calibrating expert dark, the C2 had great accuracy in SDR and HDR when calibrating the white point to D65. RGB balance was tight and everything tracked well. The design of the C2 is pretty simple and minimalist. The panel is pretty thin and it sits on top of a center stand that doesn't take up a lot of space. Clearance from the bottom of the panel is about 2¼ inches from the table, which may provide enough space for a soundbar depending on the bar's height. In the back you'll find 4 HDMI inputs, all of them HDMI 2.1 compliant. One of the HDMI ports supports eARC. You'll also find 3 USB ports, an RF input for cable or an over-the-air antenna, an optical audio out port, and an Ethernet port. The C2 has a glossy finish, which can create reflections in bright rooms. I didn't find reflections to be overly distracting while watching content, but it's something to consider if you watch TV in a very bright room. Movies and shows on the C2 look great. I love OLED's deep blacks and lack of blooming from bright objects and dark scenes. It always makes images more pleasing for me to watch. I know QD OLEDs have recently been trending over wide color gamuts, but I thought the colors on the C2 still looked great. I measured pretty much full coverage of the P3 color space, and 75% coverage of BT 2020. The C2 does a fantastic job showing off your Ultra HD Blu-rays, and it has support for Dolby Vision. The LG OLEDs have a reputation as great displays for console and PC gaming, and the C2 is no exception. As I've said in previous videos and will continue to disclaimer, I'm not a hardcore gamer, so take my gaming commentary with some leeway. But I found gaming on the C2 to be fantastic. The OLED picture looks great, response times are instantaneous, and there's a dedicated gamer bar the players can use to access different picture settings and information such as frames per second. Sports also look great on the C2, fast-moving objects are processed fairly well. The C2 has a wide viewing angle, allowing a large group of watchers to enjoy the image from different viewing angles without losing picture quality. The speakers on the C2 are decent. I thought voices and spoken dialogue were clear enough, and the speakers could muster up some decent bass. As always, I recommend getting a separate sound system to take your audio to the next level. LG's WebOS is the operating system on the C2. It had access to all the major streaming apps. I didn't experience any bad lag while using it, but overall I prefer to use a separate streaming device over smart TV setups. I couldn't get used to the Magic Remote's pointer. It annoyed me more than anything else. I would probably get used to it if I had the set for longer, and I've seen methods online you can use to get rid of it. Or you can buy a universal remote as a replacement. But the LG C2's Magic Remote has all the buttons you would need on it. There are the typical streaming app shortcuts as well as an input button. It's not the fanciest looking remote, but it gets the job done. There were reports by several owners that their panel had a pink tint. However, I didn't see that on this 55-inch model. It appeared to be affecting owners of 65-inch models more, so perhaps the 55 models aren't as affected. I did notice when I first turned on the C2 and started watching content that I could see faint, thin gray vertical bars in several places running from top to bottom. But these thin bands were gone the next day and I never saw them again, so maybe after shutting the TV off it ran a pixel refresh and cleared the bars away. So if you do see strange artifacts at first when you begin using the TV, give the panel some time to break in and run refreshes before packing it up and returning it. One note for audiophiles: if you prefer DTS audio, it's important to note the C2 does not support DTS. It won't even allow you to pass DTS over eARC. You will have to directly hook up whatever your source player is to your soundbar or stereo system in order to listen in DTS. This is unfortunate considering how common the DTS format is on many Blu-rays, but there are workarounds depending on what equipment you have. Speaking of Blu-rays, the C2 does a great job upscaling standard 1080p Blu-rays to 4K, so you can still enjoy your older Blu-rays while you're updating your collection. The C2 also comes in a range of different sizes for different users. I'm reviewing the 55-inch TV, but the C2 also comes in 42, 48, 65, 77, and 83-inch models. I really enjoyed the C2. Even though I'm not the right person to take advantage of all the gaming perks and features the set offers, I thought watching movies and shows on the C2 was a blast. I do want to note that I did most of my streaming on an Apple TV 4K streaming device, so if you're using the built-in apps on the C2, your experience may vary in terms of processing and performance. I did see some motion issues streaming some movies on the built-in apps that I didn't see streaming with the Apple streamer, so I would recommend if you do see those issues to consider a dedicated streaming device. I've never owned an OLED TV, so I would happily purchase the C2 as my main TV and enjoy it for years. But if you've already owned an OLED, or several OLEDs, I don't think the C2 will be a huge upgrade for you. You may have to instead turn to the new QD OLED market. If I did purchase the C2, I would consider getting it calibrated. Its accuracy out of the box wasn't bad, but getting a professional calibration or taking a shot at calibrating it yourself can unlock the C2's full potential. Thanks for watching. We've got more reviews and an Apple TV 4K giveaway coming up, so please subscribe so you don't miss out on it. Let us know below in the comments what you think about the C2, and if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Thanks.